Thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm David Molko, and first at 11, a warning from state police and the FBI after a group of men posing as ICE agents, they say, pulled over a driver in Clackamas County, detained, and then assaulted them. Catherine Cook spoke with community members, and Catherine, it sounds like this might not be the first time.
No, David, and they fear this will keep happening as long as actual ICE agents conceal their identities and refuse to show warrants and other arrest documentation.
On this dusty stretch of Highway 211, east of Woodburn, 3 men, allegedly posing as ICE agents, pulled someone over and assaulted them. This, according to Oregon State Police and the FBI. They say it happened the afternoon of July 17th. Investigators say the men were driving a blue or gray SUV with no license plates that had flashing red and blue lights. The men wore green shirts, face coverings, and tactical vests labeled police, and one of them had a rifle. After pulling the victim over, police say the men forced them out of their car, searched them, held them in their SUV, and assaulted them before finally letting them go.
This is the kind of attacks that we were afraid would actually happen. We know that when ICE roams the streets without any kind of identification, any kind of accountability, that's the message you're sending to people, that this kind of stuff is okay.
Rena Lopez is president of PECUN, Oregon's farm worker union. She says community members have spoken of similar incidents involving ICE impersonators. She's grateful police are investigating this case and alerting the public.
And anyone can put on a mask and refuse to identify themselves and claim that they're ICE. And these types of incidents are only going to intensify. If they are approached by someone who claims to be an ICE agent, remember that you have rights.
In Woodburn, community members like Luis want their neighbors to remain calm and informed.
A estar alertas, a estar pendientes.
He said, stay alert and look for exact information and stay respectful of the laws. We have the right to remain silent. Organizations like Portland Immigrant Rights Coalition send volunteers to authenticate ICE activity for those who call their hotline. In a statement to KGW, PERC condemned the incident and said the victim's family reached out to them last week. Quote, the reality is there is very little visible difference between ICE kidnapping someone and armed criminals kidnapping someone. ICE is deliberately exploiting a legal gray zone where people aren't sure if they can call 911 to report violent traffic assaults from unmarked people acting like police. This is a human rights issue endangering all Oregonians.
Police say if you're unsure whether a traffic stop is legitimate, consider stopping in a well-lit area or a spot where there are several people present. Anyone with information on this case or who may have encountered someone posing as law enforcement is asked to contact Oregon State Police. David.
Yeah, troubling on so many levels. Catherine Cook on the top story. Thanks, Catherine. Well, let's switch to a live look at downtown Portland now. 69 degrees. We're after some extreme heat earlier this week. Remember that? We're looking at a milder weekend ahead. Celine Stevens is in for Matt tonight with the first look at your weather impact forecast. Happy Friday and happy weekend, Celine.
Happy Friday, David. Yeah, definitely. And I do remember that heat from a few days ago. Okay, we were seeing temperatures in the upper 90s. It was hot out there, and this weekend things are improving, which is good news. And right now even, we're feeling nice and mild. 69 degrees right now here in the Rose City outside, and temperatures across our map also cooling down. Looks like 68 in Vancouver, still 70 in Troutdale, but 60 in McMinnville. And then along the coast, our temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s, some areas seeing low 60s. So here's where we're going this weekend. Tomorrow, expect some cloud coverage throughout our day, okay? We're going to see low temperatures in the upper 50s. We're going to peak in the upper 70s. A big change again from the upper 90s that we saw just a few days ago. So it's going to be a cooler day. And then we get into Sunday, temperatures should hit around 80 degrees, so it'll be a little bit warmer, and we'll have some morning clouds that will clear out by the afternoon. So overall, again, a very mild weekend. Also expect to see some shower activity along the coast Saturday and Sunday. Again, Portland holds on to the clouds. The coast seeing some minimal precipitation Saturday again and Sunday. But of course, one thing we are looking at that's continuing to prove to be an issue is those red flag warnings for a large part of the state, especially in eastern and central Oregon. As you'll see right here, a lot of them already in effect due to strong winds and low humidity. As you can see, that's going to be continuing until Saturday night. We're also dealing with air quality alerts in certain areas where those fires are burning. And again, central Oregon, like Sisters and Bend, dealing with that red flag warning as the fire risk continues to prove itself here. But David, I'll have more in the full forecast in a bit.
Appreciate it, Celine. Speaking of those warnings, resources are surging to the #1 priority fire in the country. It is the Akawa Butte fire burning north of Sisters. This is a look at smoke from that blaze filling the sky around dusk this evening. The fire, which has burned over 27,000 acres, has forced hundreds of people to evacuate, with thousands more left feeling on edge. Alma McCarty has our update from Central Oregon.
Friday afternoon, the firefight continues on the lightning-caused Akawa Butte fire.
It is July. We're seeing fire conditions that we normally see in August.
Resources here, fire officials say, nearly doubling in response to the seriousness of this fire. They say 2 homes have been lost so far.
There are over 1,100 firefighters assigned to this fire. That's how big it is. And again, it is the highest priority fire in the nation right now.
Trained professionals that care a lot about what they're doing. They know the work that they're doing impacts people.
Overnight, crews worked to strengthen control lines, secured spot fires, and mopped up hotspots ahead of a forecasted red flag warning.
So what that means is hot temperatures, but increased winds.
There's a particular focus on the southern and southwestern flanks of the fire, not far from Sisters.
I think a lot of people knew it was going to be a tough season.
In town, some businesses were closed, while others, like Sisters Bakery, say they're taking it day by day.
We keep a really close eye on it. I think the firefighters and all the command teams are doing a spectacular job of keeping the town safe and doing everything they can.
There were plenty of people still out and about, though the threat of the fire still weighs heavy on this community.
I mean, it is concerning. There's such an uptick in the last couple of years of fires. You can't control lightning.
Right.
So that's the other hard thing is just trying to stay on top of it.
The red flag warning that began on Friday afternoon will be in effect until Saturday night. And when it comes to the Akawa Butte fire, fire officials confirmed 2 homes have burned. The Oregon State Fire Marshal says that statewide, that number is 15. In Deschutes County, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
You know, firefighters say it's been an extremely challenging couple of weeks with more than 150 wildfires now burning, 150 across Oregon. You're looking at new video. One of them is the bench fire burning in Jefferson County near Warm Springs. In a briefing tonight, the Oregon Fire Marshal said since July 10th, the state has mobilized more than 700 firefighters using nearly 250 fire engines, and those hot, dry, windy conditions certainly aren't helping.
Working around the clock, night and day, 24-hour shifts to get things in order. But they're having to scratch and claw for every inch of ground that we're able to gain on these fires. So we're in a fight.
And we've got out-of-state help from places like Washington and California as well. Across the state, fires have burned over 500,000 acres to date. Stay with KGW for ongoing coverage this wildfire season as dozens of blazes continue to burn. Look for updates on KGW.com with the latest evacuations anytime, as well as progress toward containment. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, starting with a statewide ballot initiative trying to ban hunting and fishing in Oregon that has officially not made the November ballot. The Secretary of State's office says the effort failed to receive enough valid signatures. In fact, the verification process revealed that more than 1 in 4 signatures submitted in support of the initiative were invalid. The city of Portland's been ordered to pay a family more than $700,000 after refusing to let them cut down a tree, one that later fell on their home. A jury ruled in favor of the homeowners today. The family says they tried to get a permit to remove the leaning Doug fir on their Southwest Portland property, but the city denied the application, saying there were no serious defects. You might remember that tree tumbled onto their home some 2 years later during the 2024 ice storm. And the Oregon Health Authority is reporting 2 people in the state have confirmed infections of cyclosporiasis, think diarrhea and vomiting, connected to that nationwide outbreak. Though OHA says the parasite-contaminated lettuce did not come to the state. Instead, these 2 people had traveled to other states that were involved in the recall. Officials say the risk here remains low. Meanwhile, the CDC says the U.S. has now reported the most measles cases in 35 years. That says the Multnomah County Health Department warns of a new possible exposure at the Legacy Go Health Urgent Care Clinic on Northeast Gleason and Gresham. If you were at the clinic Thursday evening, that's last night between 4 and 8, you should contact your doctor. This comes a day after a Beaverton trampoline park also became a measles exposure site. Sky Zone there shut down for much of the day for a deep cleaning. If you were at that trampoline park, again in Beaverton last Saturday between noon and 3, health officials warn you may have been exposed. Widening out nationwide, we have seen more cases this year than in all of last year. And health officials warn those record-breaking numbers show not enough people are vaccinated against the disease.
It's quite tragic. We want to protect ourselves, we want to protect our children, and we want to protect our communities.
Measles was officially declared eliminated in the U.S. in the year 2000, though, as you imagine, that status is now at risk.